My name is CB Harris, and today we're going to continue working on our wraparound style 2-layer holster it's going to be for a Glock 19, obviously this is Glock 17, but for the most part the dimensions are the same except for the length of the grip here and the length of the barrel and slide, so really this is going to work out great. And what do I mean by a wraparound taco style holster and a 2-layer one at that? This is one that I made recently. This one is hunter orange and black carbon fiber, which I'm going to have to end up doing for this holster that I'm making because I had some problem with my gray carbon fiber. I don't know if you guys can really make it out, the detail on the camera there, but this is the original that I did for, the original wrap that I did for this one for this Smith & Wesson Airweight, and I don't know what's wrong with this material. The gray that I used before worked fine, did it all the same, and everything worked great with it. This one, I thought maybe I got it too hot. Got it to about 330 degrees, and I was like, wow, that's, like the texture disappeared. So I had another piece, the last piece that I had, and did it again. And this time at 280 degrees, I could see the texture start to disappear. I hurried in and formed it, hoping that I could salvage it, and it also looks like crap. So it's going to have to be black carbon fiber, like I did with this one here, this one with the Smith & Wesson Airweight. It's going to have to be the same, the black carbon fiber and hunter's orange, because I didn't have any problems with the black. I don't understand what happened to it, but so that's already having problems and headaches. Anyway, we're going to do the rest of this. We're going to cut out the material, and we're going to actually form it today, and then next week we're going to worry about actually doing the finishing stuff, cutting everything out and getting everything buffed up and getting the belt loops put on there and all that kind of stuff. So all the hardware part too. So I'm looking at this piece of material, this piece of hunter's orange, and this is the last piece that I have. I can order some more, but I'm hoping this will fit because this is the last piece that I currently have on hand. So we're going to see, and fingers crossed and hope for the best here. So let's just lay this out and let's see how this works. So we want it to come out this far. That's actually giving us probably close to 1 inch of extra, so that's a good thing. So as long as we fit it, well, it looks like it's almost perfect. Actually, it's just about 1/4 inch long. That's excellent, excellent. That's going to work perfectly. When we're cutting out our material, this is going to be the top section. Okay, so just kind of pretty much exactly like how this one is, how it's going to be a top section, a top layer, if you will. We need to make it just slightly larger than the base layer because it's got to wrap just a little bit further because it's going to wrap around the base layer. I always prefer to make things really it's better to just go large. So with this one, I'm going to just cut this off. I'm not even sure how long this piece is. This looks like it's 8 3/4 inches. I'm just going to cut it off straight because I'm not going to be able to use that inch for anything. So you're better off just making it a little bit larger and wasting that inch than to try to trim it, and then what are you going to use that inch for later? Really probably nothing. So now as far as the actual the height of it goes, or the width of it there, we're going to make it pretty much the same, maybe just a slight bit bigger because it will affect it a little bit being on the top layer, but it's not going to affect it as much as the length of it that's going to be wrapping around. So we'll make this one, this piece is 5 1/4, so we're going to make it 5 1/2 inches, and then we'll just cut this out and go from there. Now the good thing about Kydex is really all you have to do is score it. You do have to score it fairly decently. I mean, you don't want to just barely scratch the surface, especially this. This is actually not even Kydex. This is Holstex, and you have to cut through this outer protective layer as well, and then still score the material underneath. But once you do that, really you just bend it, and it's going to crack right along that line and be a perfect cut, nice and smooth, and not have any issues. If you try to cut it and you just cut it until you're all the way cut through with it, there's a good chance you're going to slip and you're going to get some jagged edges and stuff like that. it's just one good score and everything is going to work out just perfect. You have to remove this material before you put it in the oven. Yes, I've made that mistake before when I first started using this material. It comes with the directions. I don't know how I messed that up. I guess I did the man thing and just didn't read the directions. But now we're going to take this out to the garage, get it heated up, and we're going to wrap it around and mold it to our Glock 17 here. And so come out to the garage and check it out. So let's get our material put in. And I've noticed, it seems to me, that it heats fairly decently, depending, the colors don't really matter so much. They heat pretty evenly. It's the thickness. So if you're using one size that's a little bit thicker than the other, it may heat a little bit unusual. If you're going to do this process, investing in a digital laser thermometer. This one, the Newbie brand, this is pretty cheap. I want to say it was 20 bucks, something like that. Fairly inexpensive, so not a problem. But that way you can check the temperature of the material inside the oven. Just pop it open, you laser it, and it will tell you what the temperature is. Because you really need to keep a good eye on the material and know what temperature you're reaching. I'm going to heat this until it gets to probably about 315, somewhere in there, maybe the 320 range. Too much warmer than that, I find that, you start getting a little bit more shrinkage. You don't really want that because we've measured it. Yeah, we've given ourselves a little bit of excess, but you don't want to have too much shrinkage in there because it could cause some problems. So what I'm going to be doing, since this is a wraparound style, we're just using a single piece of foam. I'm going to sit it in the middle. It's going to fold up around it like a big old taco. And then we're going to put it in the press, squeeze it, and then we're going to let it sit there for quite a while. So let's let this material heat up, see where we're at. Looks like we're about the 250 range, so we've still got a little bit of time. I use a clamp for my press. It came with a chain, so you could just push it down, use the chain to lock it in place. I find the clamp works a lot better. So if you purchase one of these, which these are available through Holster Smith or Knife Kits, it's really the same company, I mean, let's be honest. But these are fairly inexpensive, but it's going to come with that chain. I still think that the wood clamp works a whole lot better. A pair of gloves is very important as well. These are just a pair of the Yvx Tactical Gloves. I'm not really a big fan of these particular gloves, but they work great for this. Almost there. We're right at about the looks like 290, 280s. We're getting there. We're almost there. I used to have my toaster oven. It was on the other side of the of the garage. I don't know why I had it over there. The press was over here, toaster oven over there. By the time I got the material over here to do the pressing, it has started to cool off significantly. And just by moving it closer so that it's right next to it, my definition has just skyrocketed. Much better definition because I'm getting that material, in the foam, in pressed within a matter of seconds as opposed to, a minute or longer. So definitely has helped out a lot. I think we're right where we want to be. We're going to this is our outer layer, so we're going to put it on there first. Inner layer, get it kind of centered on there. I like to line up at least one edge of it. And then try to get this as close to the middle as possible. We could mark the material to make sure that it goes in the middle. Shouldn't be a problem here. You can eyeball it for the most part. Make sure everything's down and where it needs to be and get it in here. I press as tight as I possibly can get it. I had broken one of these clamps, a cheap one, when I pressed it too tight and it just snapped off of there. To be honest with you, I would rather do that than have poor definition. This one's been holding up for a couple of years now, so not a problem there. I have a spare clamp and just in case I break it, but definitely get it clamped nice and tight. I've made the mistake of removing the material too soon. If it's still hot, it's okay. as long as it's not pliable still. If it's still pliable, that's where you're going to have a problem. You can pull it out when it's still slightly moldable, and you can actually, get some curve to your holster by doing that. I find it better just to wait and let it cool off pretty much completely, and then heat up again with your heat gun or something like that if you're going to make folded wings on like a pancake style holster. But not to worry with this one at all, because we're not even going to have that kind of thing. So come back in about 10 minutes. We're going to pop this thing out of here. We're back. We've had this sitting in here for a while now. And this is usually the most nerve-wracking part. I left the oven on just in case, because if something got shifted in there, it got messed up a little bit, we can always throw the material back in the oven, heat it back up again, and it's going to lay back flat. All of the all the definition is going to disappear out of it. So that's one good thing about the material. Kydex, Holstex, Boltaron, whatever it is, all of those thermoform plastics, is that as long as you don't overheat them, you can reheat it a couple of times. I have never had a problem with it. Now, if you start getting a half a dozen or more times, I don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to start cracking and having problems. I've never had that happen. So I've reheated material probably 4 times at the most and not had any issues with it. So, for the most part, it's really forgiving. Still nerve-wracking because you just spend a lot of time sitting here waiting, and then to pull it out and then have maybe a problem. So, I like to drink my Rip It while I sit here and wait. No, they did not sponsor me, but, that'd be awesome if they did, because I like Rip Its. Maybe it's one of those people who have deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan or something like that. If you've deployed, Rip Its are the fuel of life. At least it seems like it for deployed locations. So anyway, we're going to pop this out, see how it turned out, and hope for the best. Fingers crossed. Okay. Actually, that looks really, really good. Way better than I was even expecting. I think it looks really, really good. So we got good definition out of it. You can see I didn't get the definition on my screw holes that I was hoping for. I don't even see them on that side. I do see them a little bit on the on my belt loop little section here, but I just barely see them. So I'm going to have to mark the holes and drill the holes and do all that, but that's not a big deal. I was hoping it would work. It'd make my life a little bit easier if it worked, but obviously it didn't, so no big deal. You can see the material underneath right here. This is the orange material that's showing through. Again, this is going to be fine because it's for a Glock 19, so it's a ½ inch shorter. So I'm just going to really probably cut this off right at that material, and everything's going to be just perfect. Come back next week. We're going to actually draw out all of our pattern on this. We're going to get it cut out. We're going to get it sanded. We're going to get the finishing touches on it. We're going to get the holes drilled, and we're going to get the belt loops put on there. I know it's a lot to do. It's going to be a 3-part, hopefully. Well, you know what? It might go a little bit longer than that. Depends on how far along we can get. I don't want the videos to be too long. I want them to be a nice, comfortable length. So, but we'll definitely get some progress made on it next week for sure. So be sure to come back next week and check that out and see what progress we've made on this holster build. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, it is always appreciated when you like and share. And if you are not a subscriber and you want to see how this holster turns out, find that subscribe button. It's right down below. Put your crosshairs on it. Pull the trigger on your mouse, and then come back next week and watch the next section of this this how-to, I guess, video. Also, on Thursdays, we have the Gear Freak. There was not a Gear Freak last week. I apologize for that. I'm getting worn out, to be honest with you. I'm getting kind of worn out on videos. I'm trying to re-energize myself, so hopefully that'll work out. Didn't have a video on Saturday either. Just kind of skipped a week, I guess. But typically, we have videos every Thursday and Saturday. So be sure to come back and check. Hopefully, we will have ones this week. And remember, your mind, that is your most important weapon, and it's vital to be armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe. Charlie Bravo, out.